Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Chassidus in the Morning, 15 minutes to change our lives. Special edition, the Bris Maamer, Be'Etzem HaYom Hazeh from the Alter Rebbe. Something interesting that I've learned this Maamer, Baruch Hashem, 3 times already. It's going to be the 4th time. And I've learned it with some other people. Every time you learn the same Maamer, it's not the same thing again. It's a whole different experience. And doing it again with this one is, I'm also looking forward to seeing what I get and what I come out of it and how it changes me. It's very important. We shouldn't think to ourselves, I learned it already, When I first started to learn Chassidus, when I was learning Chassidus, before I understood Chassidus, I used to think you have to go through all these books and you have to read it and then you finish it on the shelf and then you can mark it off the list of books you've done. Unless you're a genius that you're able to internalize the message of each book as you read it once, then it doesn't work that way. And what I've come to learn is I can learn a Maamer year in, year out, the same Maamer, and every time is a whole different experience. So Mitzvah Hashem, we should that's just a general concept, just seeing how it applies in this situation. So I'm looking forward to what I'm getting out of this Maamer this time, and everyone should realize there's nothing wrong with learning the same Maamer over and over again. Okay, so let's begin. So this Maamer talks about a different parts in the Torah. It talks about a milah and what's the difference between them. Okay. Be'Etzem HaYom Hazeh Nimel Avram. So on that very day, Avram had Bris. So in the beginning of the Torah, talk about how Avram was 99 years old, and Yisrael was 13. Yitzchak was 8 days old. He gives everyone a Bris. He's commanded by Hashem to give everyone a Bris, and he does. But what's interesting is the language. It says, Be'Etzem HaYom Hazeh Nimel Avram. On that very day, Avram was circumcised. So the Alter Rebbe doesn't really expound much. But the question is, it's not brought down in the Maamer. It says, on that very day, and from what I understand, the Maamer explains it this answer. It says, it could have just said, Be'etzem HaYom Hazeh or Hayom Hazeh Nimel Avram. It says, Be'etzem HaYom Hazeh, on the essence of that very day, he was, and it doesn't say, he circumcised himself as much as it says he was circumcised. Nimo, he was circumcised. What does it mean he was circumcised? So the discussion brought down of what does this mean? One opinion is Riva, that he said because the bris milah was a one-time thing, so Avram waited to be commanded by Hashem. Because the question is, and this is what we're going to ask, L'havin Akush, understand the question. It's brought down in Sfarim. So what the question is, why was Avram 99 years old when he did the milah? Why didn't he do it earlier? It says, he fulfilled the whole Torah. Avram was living a frum life besides the bris. He had done everything but the bris. It's very weird. I feel Eruv Tavshilin, even Eruv Tavshilin, which Eruv Tavshilin is basically when, they have signs up around, especially in Crown Heights or different places, they announce Eruv Tavshilin. When Yom Tov is on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, so it's Thursday, Friday, going to Shabbos, you have to do something called an Eruv Tavshilin. And that causes, and this comes down from the Gemara, it says that Avram did even the Eruv Tavshilin. The Chacham made a gezerah in order that be able to cook from Yom Tov to Shabbos, which you're not normally allowed to do. If you do an Eruv Tavshilin, it's sort of like it's like you've started preparing for Yom Tov already, for Shabbos, I mean. And you do Eruv Tavshilin Erev Yom Tov. So Yom Tov is Wednesday night, so on Wednesday, you make an Eruv Tavshilin. If you don't, you can't cook. And there's even a shayla about lighting Shabbos candles. It's a whole complicated thing, but this is not from the Daraisa, not from the Torah. And Avram did this Eruv Tavshilin. So if Avram did even the Eruv Tavshilin, which is something that's it's not like a Daraisa, Darabanan, just a Gezerah, so to speak, a low level. And he even did that. But when it comes to Bris Milah, which, Bris Milah is the highest of levels, one of the most fundamental things of Judaism, he didn't do it until he was 99 years old. What is he waiting for? What was going on with him? We need to understand this. Yeah. So to understand what's going on here, so of course, it's not because Avram was lazy, because Avram didn't want to get cut something, chas v'shalom. Of course, there's much depth to it. So let's see. First, not to understand this, and this is a classical idea. In order to understand why Avram waited, we have to understand what a mill is first. Meaning, some questions are some questions stay questions even after you answer, and some questions is lack of information. So Chassidus is in this case, we're saying that just lack of information. You need to understand what a mill is first. Let's understand what the mill is, and then when we understand what a mill is, then we can understand what happened with Avram. And what Avram did will make a lot of sense. But at this point, it doesn't make any sense. What's he waiting for? Why is he waiting until he's 99? Why is he waiting until God commands him? Where he did all the other mitzvahs? So let's understand. So behold, because if it's written, Loi b'shamayim he, it's not in heavens, Lamer, saying, Mi yale lana shamayim, who's going to go up to us in heavens? So it says in Devarim, the Avram having the Bris is in Bris. Although in Devarim, it says that the Torah is not in heaven, saying that who's going to go up to us in heaven and go reach it. That's the pasuk. So now, in this pasuk, let's see if we can see this. Let me see. I'll try to zoom in here. I don't know how to see it over here. Whatever. Basically, the first letters of this pasuk is Rosh Davis and Mila is Mila. So mi, the mem, yud yala, lamed lanu, hashamayma. So mem, yud, lamed hey, which is Mila. So the first letters of this pasuk, mi yala lanu hashamayim, who's going to go up to heaven, spells out Mila. And what's interesting is the Sefer Tevis, the last letter of each of those words, spells out Havai, God's name. Like you see, mi is a yud, yaleh, hey, lanu, nun, yud, hey, so not nun, vav, yud, hey, vav, hashamayma, hey, yud, hey, vav, hey, Hashem's name. So the first letters, which is the beginning, higher level, is Milah, and the last letters, Ahavaye, which is God's name, which is Haya Haviviyah, past, present, and future, God above the world. So we see Milah is on this high level. So the idea is like this. It says in the pasuk, also in the Devarim, that you should circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Meaning the foreskin means like a coarseness. It's synonymous with a coarseness. So we have to get rid of that coarseness that we have. And then Hashem will circumcise your heart. So what does it mean? There's two types of bris milah. There's a milah that we have to do, like it says, we should circumcise the foreskin of our hearts. We should get rid of our coarseness. And then there's a second one, which is that Hashem will circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Will circumcise your heart. Meaning there's two levels. So there's a milah that comes from us, and then there's a milah that comes from above. So what does it mean, the milah coming from us? That comes from below to above. We have to circumcise the foreskin of our hearts. And we'll explain. Which is the idea of tshuva. Like it says, you should turn until Hashem your God. And fulfilling Torah mitzvahs. Meaning, what's this foreskin related to? It means we have something that desensitizes us. We've talked about in last week's Sicha, and you have an inyan of Yeshus. That Yeshus gets in the way, that our ego gets in the way. Bittul, like we said, Bittul is all subjugation to Hashem. Doesn't mean that I'm a nobody, it means I'm nothing but Hashem, and I want to connect with my godly essence, and I'm good. And I keep on doing things that way. But the arla, the foreskin, is what covers over that sensitivity, and Ayesh gets in the way. And we have taivas, and we get caught up in things that aren't important, and we do things that are not good for us, not beneficial for us. So the tshuva is returning to that better place. It's having that, and that's getting rid of that foreskin, that dullness, that ego that gets in the way of the sensitivity. So that's the below to above. That's our effort. Meaning in simple English, we want to get close to Hashem. We gotta give up of our taivas. It can't be that we want to watch movies all day, drink beer and pizza, or whatever it is, do our taivas, and then also feel connected to Hashem when we daven. When we wonder why we're not connected to Hashem when we daven, we have to ask ourselves, are we doing all the other things? It's like a person trying to run a marathon without doing any preparation for it and sitting down all day doing no exercise and eating junk food and then wondering why it's so hard to do the marathon. Some people make the mistake in a thought. They say, it's not for me. See, Torah mitzvah is not for me because look, it's so hard. And realize what they're doing. What are we doing to ourselves to cause that? And so the first level is the milah, is the tshuva, is us returning, coming close to God, is realizing what's getting in the way, what's the arla, what's something that's stopping me from being able to connect. That's the first level. And the rabbis say about this idea of tshuva, if we do tshuva, nigalin. That's the point. If we get rid of those things, if we work on ourselves to do the right thing and realize what's holding us back and what's getting in the way, what's covering over and what's making us dull and desensitized, so then we get rid of that. We work on getting rid of it. We don't have to fully get rid of it. We just have to work on it. We start working on it. Then with nigalin, we get redeemed. We get helped and it works. And if not, nigalin, we don't get redeemed. And in a simple sense, the more we work on ourselves, like the example of a person trying to run a marathon, the more they take care of eating healthy, the better the results will be. Now, it's not going to be just one day suddenly you're running a marathon. But if you go from every day eating junk food and sitting on the couch and doing nothing, and then you start training, so yeah, you're better on a marathon straight away, but you'll feel better and you'll feel improvement. And even more, it's quick, the process in the beginning. The middle part of it, the real training part, that takes a little more effort, takes a little more consistency. But the beginning, you feel the difference. And so with us, if we make sure, let's say we go to bed late every night, so we make sure to go to bed on time. We push ourselves, say Kriya Shema early. When we go to bed, we wake up. If we're sensitive to ourselves, you'll feel it, and you're like, wow, I feel so much better. Such a good idea. And your davening will be so much better, and it will be instantly felt. But if we don't do tshuva, we don't do that, we don't work on ourselves, we keep on going to bed late, we keep on eating the food we shouldn't be eating, we keep on telling ourselves negative thoughts, we keep on saying to ourselves, we're not good enough, and we're not going to have a shidduch, and all these negative thoughts, I'm not a good enough wife, whatever it is, so then ain't nigalin. So then the results are going to continue being the same. Now, when Mashiach comes, when the bringing in of the ingathering of the exile, it says, I'm going to bring you to the land and I'll make it good for you, which is that's the second level, that's the high level, from above to below. And Hashem will circumcise, meaning there's the effort that we put in, and then there's a level that comes above what we can do. And so meaning not just you put in the effort to be able to do the right thing and connect to Hashem and redeem yourself from the galus. But once you do it, Hashem brings you to a higher level that's something you can't do by yourself. Just to finish off with the last bit of I'm going to make it better for you than your forefathers, which is Bechinas Marav Tuvcha Shetafanta, which is the goodness that I've hidden, that only happens when Mashiach comes. Ki b'Moshe, like Moshe, Mahul, even though Moshe was born, circumcised, Ksiv, Vatera Oisa, Kitovel, so that he was good. Hainu shbechinas a milah rishon, and this is that first milah shemilamayla shemilamata l'mayla. But Moshe, he was born naturally good, but it was from below to above. Meaning, it was that effort that we have to put in. Moshe didn't have to put in that effort. He didn't have that blockage, that arla that got in the way. We have an arla that gets in the way. Even though we know we should go to bed, I was speaking to my son yesterday. We're having a whole discussion, and he was telling me that it's annoying that when it's time to go to bed, during the day he gets tired, and he's like, you know what? He didn't say these words exactly, but this was the idea he was saying. He's like, I'm tired, and I say to myself, I want to go to bed when I'm tired, but then when it comes time to go to bed, he gets distracted and he sees all these toys, so he goes, I want to go play again, and he's like, it's annoying. I'm tired now, but when it's time to go to bed, I don't go to sleep. Moshe didn't have this issue. Moshe had that cloud. He didn't have a Yitzhahar. He didn't have an Arla. He was born circumcised already. He didn't have those issues. Yeah, but what comes from above, what Hashem brings down to us, Hashem was circumcised, which he didn't have. So even Moshe was born circumcised. That just means He had the first level. He didn't have to do tshuva. He didn't have the tshuva issue that we were talking about. So mitzvah Hashem, we should learn. We should understand what this means. And tomorrow we'll continue to understand how this all works out. And once we understand what a milah is, we can understand why Avram waited and understand what's happening by the bris. So mitzvah Hashem to be continued tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.